Hey guys, how you doing? It's Benji here. I know I've been really quiet on social media for about 6 months since I got out of the desert, but I've just been back in the world and working really hard, and I thought I'd make this quick video to talk about C19 and what we've been going through and why it's so important to self-isolate. It's been a crazy month. I mean, 1 month ago I was sitting in a cafe talking to a guy about planning a next expedition. Then 3 weeks ago I was looking at venues for a book launch. 2 weeks ago we were making jokes in the pubs about people hoarding toilet roll. And this week it's day one of my self-isolation. It's the 26th of March, and this week I'm probably going to join everyone else in the dole queues looking at getting a new start allowance. And that's the situation we all find ourselves in. So things are moving really quickly, and I understand that people are still not quite understanding what is at stake here with the whole self-isolation. Now, I can actually keep on working myself, but I've chosen not to because the way I'm looking at it now is that I am not worried about other people having the virus and perhaps giving it to me, because I'm not too worried about the virus and getting sick itself. But I'm now looking at it as if I've got the virus and I don't want to give it to anyone else, because there are people in the community that will struggle. Okay, this is a real issue at the moment. You can really feel it. I live here in Abbotsford. You can see the apartment building behind me here, and I feel like this is the epicenter of all of the crisis, because the streets are dead. Every second building in Richmond and Abbotsford is a pub or a restaurant, and the place is like a ghost town. Even the cafes downstairs have been closed now, and where I'd normally see tens of people walking down the river each morning and day, there's just been no one. So it feels like I'm in an Avengers movie and Thanos has just snapped his fingers. So now, if this virus continues to spread the way it does, there'll just be thousands of deaths across the country. And people have not been taking it seriously, and they've been perhaps burying their head in the sand, and that's fine now. But now there's a point where you can't blame ignorance, because there's so much information on the news and it's in the streets, and you can't walk down the street and plead ignorance to the situation that we find ourselves in. So that is no longer a valid excuse. Now, what you'll find is that we are in one of the greatest crises in history with this virus, and it's almost like we are experiencing wartime situations. Now, there are going to be two types of people that are going to stand out in this whole pandemic, and those are either people who are going to act selflessly and think about how their actions are going to impact others from this point forward, and also people who are going to act very selfishly. And those are the people that are going to keep on hoarding toilet paper and keep on thinking about themselves during this whole crisis. Now, I understand that there's been a lot of fear and people are worried and people are scared, but that attitude, and they're all thinking, and people are thinking about themselves, but that attitude has to change moving forward. So now, instead of thinking to yourself, oh my God, I don't want to get the virus, I'm going to pack up my caravan and get the hell out of town, you have to start thinking now, okay, maybe I've got the virus and I shouldn't leave town and take this into another regional area. That's the sort of attitude or mental shift that needs to happen in people. Just the other day, I was finishing a job and I was talking to the client, and he was a flight attendant. Now, didn't even really think it seriously, and I shook his hand when we left, and he'd just come off a flight from God knows where. And then I went to a local Bunnings out in the suburbs, and the place was chock-a-block, full of people trying to get materials to paint their fence and do all the DIY around their home when the lockdown kicks in. Now, there were people there with full families of people, like mum, dad, and all the kids running around Bunnings, And I could have potentially been carrying the virus and giving it to them after now coming into contact with someone who could have also been potentially carrying the virus. And any single one of those thousands of people in Bunnings could have also been carrying the virus. So from this point forward, I've decided to go into a voluntary lockdown for myself, because I don't want to get the people I love sick. And also on the other side of this lockdown, 2 weeks and it's just not going to be over. So I still want to be able to go see my family and the people I love and not be worried about getting them sick, because it's not just 2 weeks and we all go back to normal. This is going to be a normal way of living quite a long time, and people start to really need to start taking this seriously and thinking not so much about themselves, but more so about how their actions are going to affect others. So moving forward now, there's going to be selfless people, which is the A team, and selfish people, which is the B team. And it's going to be hard times ahead, no doubt about it, but you need to now start thinking about which team you want to be on, and what you're going to do to make your actions are going to speak louder than any words you can speak. So what are you going to do to help combat this virus? Because it's not about you anymore. We're all in this together. We need to start acting like a team, and the team is just going to be team humanity, because that's what we're fighting for here. Right now, the healthcare system is preparing for thousands of deaths nationwide over the coming months if we can't stem the spread of COVID-19. So some pretty brutal facts, but think about that. Which team do you want to be on moving forward, and how do you want to be remembered in history? As a selfless person who helped push us forward, or someone who hoarded toilet paper? The choice is yours. All right, I'll leave you with that. 2 weeks of lockdown, day one today. So far, so good. We'll see how we go. Cheers, guys.